To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So I'm back at the storm shelter dig, I guess is the best way to call it. I used to say the tiny house build. Okay, so today we're back at the tiny house build. Well, today we're back at the storm shelter dig. I'm only doing this about a half hour a day. I started digging just this out, the square. Maybe you can see the square. I started digging it out. And then I hit a big slab of concrete when I was over here. And it down angled about 2 or 3 feet. Well, the next day it was full of water in that hole. So I thought, you know, well, I better start digging out a drain because that water is just going to accumulate here. Now I know trying to get a perspective on this is difficult, but this is all in a downhill slope. So when I walk down here, maybe you can see it's downhill slope, but this is a downhill slope and it's pretty significant. You know, the house is, look at the house. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build what's called a French drain. Now I did a French drain, kind of like a French drain over here on the well. What a French drain is you dig a ditch, like I'm doing here, and then you put a PVC pipe in it with holes. Well, over here I still have some leftover PVC pipe when I was putting in the well packer. I thought I was going to have to go 80 feet deep with the well packer, but I ended up only having to go 30 feet deep. So I got a lot of 4-inch PVC pipe. So when you do a French drain, you'll drill holes in the pipe here, then you'll turn it over, you put it down in the ditch, and then that pipe will fill up with water. And then you put gravel over it, like you'll see here. So underneath that gravel is a PVC pipe. So water will come down, run over that gravel, and down in the PVC pipe, and then flow downhill. So that's what I'm gonna do here. I've got, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet, maybe 4 feet of a ditch. Now, as I go downhill, the ditch will get shallower and shallower and shallower. I don't know how far I gotta go, and I'm not even sure the geometry, the math of the geometry to figure that out. I suspect I'm gonna have to come to about right here, so I'll try to give you some perspective. So I'll have to get that ditch to come out to about right here. But like I said, it's gonna get shallower and shallower and shallower as I get down here. So right now, this ditch is 3 feet 5 inches, and I need to go 4 feet at least. I'd like to go 4 feet 4 inches. So I'm not even deep enough. I'm just trying to get the outline of the ditch established. Then I'll dig this out more, is kind of what I'm thinking. And then I can dig deeper with the ditch. But right now I've hit rock. So if the rock is huge and like bedrock, you know, I can't get past it, I may only go 3 feet 5 inches and just have to deal with that and then build up the sides so we can have a 4-foot storm shelter. As you see here, the dirt is starting to accumulate, and Carolyn and I was talking that we could actually use that dirt to kind of build up the walls so I don't have to dig as deep. So we'll see how it goes. Now once I get it dug down, I'm kind of going back and forth on what I want to do with the floor. I either will do a concrete floor, so this building would be 6 feet by 6 feet is the idea, and the entrance will be like this. You'll just walk straight into the entrance. So the 3 sides will be covered, surrounded by dirt, and the front side will be an entrance. Now, I'm thinking that the entrance will not be 6 feet wide. You know, maybe a little wider than this ditch, and I'll have a door we can go into it. I'm also thinking, so I don't have to dig so much, that we'll actually have to step down. If I do it that way, almost all 4 sides will be completely surrounded with dirt, keeping in the ground temperature better. In the winter time should be, you know, in the 50s. In the summertime around the 60s. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. If I don't do a concrete floor, then it'd just be a dirt floor. But then I would have to pour concrete right along the wall so I can stack concrete blocks on it. So either way, concrete's going to have to go down first. Then I'm going to stack concrete blocks up, and then I'm going to do a concrete roof. Now I've never done a concrete roof, so that's going to take a little bit of research, but it needs rebar. You know, probably 4 inches deep. Now, in this case, I probably will have to rent a concrete mixer because it's going to have to go pretty fast. I can't have that much concrete sitting around waiting for me to stir up another batch. Over here, I did a 4 foot by 4 foot pad that was 6 inches deep, and I was able to do that within a couple hours. But a pad this big I'm gonna have to move pretty fast. Right now, this project is completely free. Digging out this hole just isn't gonna cost a lot of money. I know I've gotten a lot of criticism. Oh, I could have done that much work in 10 minutes. Well, maybe so. But when I was a kid, my dad used to listen to this album called War of the Worlds. You probably saw the movie. Heck, they just made a movie about it not that long ago. I say not that long ago, it might have been 10, 15 years now. But Tom Cruise was in it. But back in the 70s, there was an album called War of the Worlds, and it went along with the context of the Martians landing. And in the movie and in the album, the narrator of the album was talking about this guy who was digging an underground world. And he'd only dug out a small tunnel, been at it for like a month. I don't remember how long it took him. And the narrator said, oh, I could have done that much in 2 minutes. And I remember my dad saying, no, you couldn't have, because you haven't. You haven't done anything. And that's the point I'm trying to make is, you can say that you can do a lot, but actually doing it is a whole different story. I'm fully confident that you might be able to dig this faster than me, especially if you're younger than me, or you've dug holes like this, but you know what? You're not digging it. So no, you're not digging it faster than me. You're sitting around watching me dig it and telling me how terrible I am at doing it. So, which kind of brings me to what I wanted to talk about today. The world is just full of hate. I really struggle with how much hate I get. There's this YouTube channel that was doing reviews on how much you make. I was reading the comments and bam, right there. Everybody hates Little House. And I was reading the other comments on the other videos this guy made. I didn't see any hate. And I think, man, really? I'm sure I'm not a perfect person. The amount of hate that comes from a guy who just wants to live off solar panels, pump his own water, and dig his own well, and do all his work himself, gets this much hate. And I don't understand it. Of course, I block comments. I'm totally okay with doing it. As a matter of fact, I am a member of this Facebook group. And this Facebook group is a community of people who have YouTube channels or trying to develop a YouTube channel. The owner of the Facebook group actually has a YouTube channel teaching people how to develop YouTube channels. And one of the things that everybody is agreeing on is if you get hateful comments, you need to block those comments. There's no reason to encourage people to be hateful. And what typically happens is if you get one hateful comment, then all of a sudden it becomes mob mentality. Oh my goodness, yeah, look at the trash around Rob's place. And then just every comment after that will be discussing the trash instead of discussing the video, which is, hey, you can live free and you can clean this up on your own time. And I just don't want to get into the trash talk. He blocks comments. I said something to him the other day and he didn't like it, so he blocked the comment. Well, why are you commenting hateful comments? What's the point? There is nothing going on here, nothing that needs a hateful comment. If you don't like what I'm doing, then don't watch. But to comment that, oh, I hate what you're doing, what's the point? Why don't you try to find happiness in your life? Try to find something that you want to do. Try to build your own dreams. But instead, it's easier for these folks to tear you down. I've talked about this a lot. There's two types of people. There are the types people will consider leaders. I actually learned this in a leadership class. And leaders try to pull people up. So if you have lesser skills, for example, a leader will show you how to become more skillful. And then there are those that try to pull you down. Instead of trying to improve their lives, it's easier to say, well, look at this terrible guy, bring him down. It's much like the saying, give a guy a fish and he eats for a day. Teach a guy how to fish and he eats for a lifetime. And so that's what I really am trying to promote is if you want to live your dream, here's how you do it. Become debt-free, not hard to do. And every time I say that, I get haters. Oh my goodness, you don't know anything. Trust me, I know everything about debt. I had a lot of it. And so when I tell you it's easy, it is easy. You just have to get off the addiction of spending money. That's all it is. I was addicted to spending money just like everybody else. Now I'm addicted to not spending money. I'm addicted to being debt-free. And I think this is what gets me in trouble, is I do express how easy life can be. So folks who don't want to, be risen up to this level of, oh yes, I can do it, it's easier to bring me down. Well, if I tell him that, oh, look at that, he's wore his sweatshirt 2 days in a row, he's disgusting, why would I want to live like that? There's no way he's going to have, this person, this hater, is going to have the ability to take a shovel and just start digging a half hour a day. It boggles his mind. But I'm telling you, Rob, I want to do what you're doing, but I don't want to put the work into it that you do. So it's easier to say Rob is a terrible individual. So the point of this video is I want to inspire you to be a leader and pull people up. Thanks for watching.